Hi, everyone. All right, good Wednesday, 7:14 right now. I've got a live look for you. Quiet. It's beautiful out over the plaza. We've got blue skies up top, but we are watching for some storms on the way tonight. I think most of us will get storms, and some of them could be on the strong side. So we're going to walk through that. I'll give you the timeline when you can expect them, show you the latest forecast data. We've got the forecast radar for you, where the storms are now, and we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect at this very point, too. I've got the Facebook stream up. If you've got questions or comments, shoot them to me. Let me know. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And let's get to it. All right, right off the top, there it is, our severe thunderstorm watch. Now, this goes until 1 o'clock in the morning. It does include Kansas City and points north and west. So this means that within that blue box, some storms could be strong or produce severe level winds or hail, maybe even a few tornadoes. A brief tornado warning can't be ruled out. So we're going to go through the towns here, everybody, so stick with us, and we'll look at it all. Now, that's the watch that we have. Now, here's what we're tracking. Let's see if I can get this to go. There we go. Line of storms is in Kansas and southeast Nebraska, and it's already pretty well organized. There is a little gap in between, but lining out into a fairly well-organized line of storms. The strongest right now are over here by Beatrice and Marysville, just west of Wheaton. We do have one storm there that's rotating, so it's got a tornado warning on it. And that's not for our coverage area, but we do have storms out there that are spinning. And that's probably the greatest chance for storms to want to spin is early. I'm thinking before sunset, when they're kind of by themselves. You see how that one's got that break to the south where there are no storms to steal its energy from the south? So it kind of grabs all the air and ingests that into the storm itself. Once they turn into one big solid line, which is what I think they're going to do later on tonight, then they kind of interact with each other, and it's not as favorable for tornado development. So I don't think we have a big tornado threat, but northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas, we're going to have to watch this just to see as they get closer to our area, could we have a few warnings? It's possible. A few tornado warnings is what I'm talking about. So when can you expect them? Well, northwest Missouri, this is going to be after 8 o'clock. You're going to get into them first. They're going to come in out of that line that we just showed you. So really from about, as early as 8, more likely 9, 10 o'clock, up till about 11 midnight. It's going to be your time frame there. I'm looking at Maryville, St. Joe, Atchison, places in the yellow shading that you see. And then for the orange zone, that includes the Kansas City metro. This is going to be after 10 o'clock, more likely around midnight, but as early as about 10. And then for the southeast in the red zone, that's going to be after midnight, probably after 1 o'clock in the morning. So Kansas City, Kansas. Yeah, we're going to be looking at after probably 10 o'clock, probably near midnight. So you'll see it here in just a second. In fact, let's take a closer look at when I expect storms in Kansas City. Again, our evening here is quiet. It's beautiful out there right now. It's going to take a while for these storms to get to us. They're not moving all that fast, so we'll keep it mainly dry up until about 11. By 11, as early as 10, we'll put a first warn to spotlight, hey, time to start paying attention. But this is an overnight event for Kansas City, a late night event. So a lot of us will probably be in bed. It'd be a good idea to keep your phone on and charged. Might lose power in some spots tonight. We'll see. And you would get alerts if there were a storm that were severe and you wanted to be alerted to that. So watch the chance really spike. By midnight, we're at 90%. Again, I think a lot of us get storms tonight. Some of them could be strong and kind of bad. First warn to highlight that through about 5 o'clock in the morning. After 5, we should really be done in Kansas City. And if you're east of Kansas City, maybe not the case, but I think for the commute, for back to school, for the bus stop, all that stuff, tomorrow morning probably going to be okay. It's mainly overnight. Could be noisy, could be waking us up. So one of the other things I want to highlight here is the rain. Could see quite a lot of rain out of this. 1 inch, 2.5, not out of the question. It's a pretty good line that's going to be coming through. So let's see, what else do we have? Are there going to be more warnings for Platte and Clay County? It's possible. We don't know where the warnings are going to go yet. All right, we don't know because the storms are too far west. How well organized are they going to be for warnings, meaning severe weather is ongoing? That's kind of an in the moment scenario, and that won't be until later on tonight. I'm checking some of the comments here. My weather radio may be going off. Yes, Tonganoxie will get hard. We'll see. So this is the view right now. Again, it's great outside. It's humid. It's very humid. Feels like 96. Feels 10 degrees hotter than the actual temperatures. It only got to the upper 80s today. Check out the heat index in spots. Ottawa got to 117-degree heat index. We were looking to get crazy humid in Kansas City. It didn't quite make it to the metro with the really high humidity. So our peak heat index was 98. But just southwest, 110, 112, 115, 117, they really got into it. So you can still see that. Ottawa still feels like 114, Garnett 115, 103 in Paola. It just didn't quite get crazy humid here in Kansas City, but still it's an awfully muggy night. So this is probably what you want to see most, the forecast track as we line out these storms and time them. So it does a good job of tracking that line of storms to our west. Watch as we go forward in time. I'll pause it for you here by 9. So we're about an hour, 45 minutes away. So Maryville, Atchison, St. Joe could get into some storms, maybe some strong ones. We'll see. And this is by midnight. So this is 12 in the morning. So 11 midnight. Now, if you look at this closely, what you're going to notice is a lot of this is yellow and orange. I think the bulk of us just get standard run-of-the-mill summertime thunderstorms. But if you look at the dark reds, the blacks even, those are small pockets of stronger cells that could produce some severe weather. So it's going to be isolated. I don't think everybody's going to get severe weather. It's not what we're saying. I think most of us, again, just get regular thunderstorms. But some small pockets of maybe some hail and some high winds can't be ruled out, even for Kansas City. The greater chance is going to be north and west for those storms when they're a little bit stronger as they move toward us, and then they're going to be kind of on a weakening trend, but still probably fairly stout. Okay, so there's midnight. Let's roll it forward. I'll take it to about 5 in the morning, and notice Kansas City on the backside may still have some stragglers, but if you're in Harrisonville, Warrensburg, Clinton, early morning, you may still have some storms ongoing. So let's see what else we have. Well, let's break down our humidity in Kansas City. Tomorrow's still pretty humid. We're waiting on a front that's going to come through, and that'll knock the humidity down by Thursday evening, Thursday night. The tornado chance in Gladstone and Liberty is pretty low. It's not 0, but it's pretty low. Yes, turn your NOAA weather radio on, First Warn 5 weather app. You get all the alerts there. When is the severe weather season ever going to be over? I hear that. This has been one crazy severe weather season. I mean, this spring was number 2 and number 3 in Kansas and Missouri. And into the early summer. So that's forecast track. I imagine a lot of us, this is really what we want to know. So let's go back and do this one more time. So there's the evening. All right, so 9 o'clock, watching them enter from the northwest again. They come in from the northwest. So Maryville, St. Joe, Atchison first. Probably won't be till after 11 or so that we get them in Kansas City. Most of us just get storms. I think a lot of us get storms tonight, but only small pockets of severe level is what we're looking at. That's those small areas of the bright reds, the dark blacks that you see, where you could get some hail, some high wind, and then they blow eastwards. So most of us get it. You saw that forecast track. And there's the morning, and it's clearing out for Kansas City, but ongoing south and east, most likely, early in the morning. So the bus stop in the metro will look pretty good. Again, 75, I think we're going to be dry. Driving to work should be dry. Then we catch a break. And much of tomorrow will be dry, and we go to the upper 80s. It's still humid. It feels like 100, give or take. Heat index is still up there. Here's another look at the heat index. It'll be about 100, 102, 103, some of us in the upper 90s. And then there is a chance for another round. This would be tomorrow evening. Now, this round is much more scattered and broken up. Not nearly as confident that we will get this in any one particular spot. You're going to have a higher chance north of Kansas City. And this is what radar could look like by 6. So if you have evening plans tomorrow, soccer practice, little league practice, whatever's going on, evening plans could potentially have some storms from 6 till about, we'll say 5 to 10 is really the timeline there. And some of these could be strong too. Now notice, if you're south of I-70, I don't think you're going to get much here. But if you're KC, I-70 north, you've got a chance at it. This one also has a level 2 out of 5 severe risk, which is what we have today, by the way. It's a severe wind and hail threat. I think it's going to be, again, very patchy, but possible. Let's look at the rain chances here for tomorrow. I'm going 40%, so it's less than 50-50 odds, but there's a chance that we get them in Kansas City. If you're south of I-70, slight chance, 20-30% chance. If you're north of I-70, going toward Cameron, Chillicothe, that's where you've got a better than 50-50 chance that you get into some of those storms tomorrow evening. Doesn't necessarily mean severe, but they could be. Here's your 7-day, then we're going to go through this all again. After we're past tomorrow evening, weather looks pretty good. All right, so the front comes through, storms will stop, and the humidity comes down. So by Friday, feeling better, upper 80s, it's dry. Your weekend looks really good. There is a low chance for a shower, but I don't think we're going to get it. It's just a slight chance on Saturday. I think our weekend's dry, mid-80s, low humidity, and then it's quiet into next week. So that's the breakdown. Let me check this again on I'm just checking my phone for the Facebook feed. How is Kansas City, Kansas near the Legends looking? You're going to get storms. Pretty confident of that. It's probably going to be roughly 10 to midnight for the start time there. Could be strong. All right, so let's see what else we have. Feel like this weather has been too good to be true with these warm fall temperatures. It's been pretty nice here lately with brief little hot spells. All right. And was there a NOAA weather radio outage a few minutes ago? You know, the Kansas City National Weather Service office is having communication issues tonight. In fact, the Louisville, Kentucky Weather Service Department is monitoring the weather for Kansas City tonight. So the National Weather Service is who issues all the warnings. But radar is giving us issues. There's some problems there. Just so you're aware of that, there may be some funky type of communications issues tonight because of this error that they're having there. That's not on the KCTV5 side. It's actually on the warnings issue side from the National Weather Service. So that's something that we're going to keep in mind tonight. You may have some weird alerts that go off. Will this be widespread severe weather for KCMO? No, I don't think it'll be widespread severe weather. I think it'll be widespread storms with pockets of severe weather. So small areas could get under those intense cells, the most intense cells, but those will be confined to just small areas, and that's where we could see some of that hail and that high wind. So let's go back to the top. I'm just going to rewind my show, and for those of you that are just joining us, we're going to walk through everything, and we'll do this one more time. Again, Facebook feed is up. If you've got questions, just shoot them to me. Okay, so we're back up at the top. How strong could the winds be? Really about 60. You know, I'm not looking at an 80-mile-per-hour wind threat, not a likely, never say never in severe weather because storms can kind of behave. They're very chaotic. But just looking at the general atmosphere, I think 60-mile-per-hour winds would be possible. Could get some quarter-size hail, maybe a little larger, but the big hail, the bigger wind, the higher tornado risk is really centered to where the storms are now, which is in Kansas, in northern Kansas. If you're, in Atchison County in Kansas, you got a higher chance than we do in KC. If you're up in Nottoway County, Holt County, you got a higher chance than we do in KC of getting more severe weather. All right, so let's see what else we have. Is there going to be a tornado warning? We don't know. We don't know that there's one to our west now. Probably not for Kansas City. You can see we're on the edge of the severe thunderstorm watch. That's what I'm showing you here. The blue box is a severe thunderstorm watch. If the odds were high enough, then this would be a tornado watch. High enough for, odds were high enough for tornadoes. It's not a high chance, but there is a chance that storms want to rotate tonight, especially, again, north of Kansas City. Generally, we're looking at a severe weather chance where we could get the hail, the high winds. That's what we're most concerned about. That's why this watch is in effect. Severe thunderstorm watch until 1 o'clock in the morning. All right, so we're asking about Belton. Whatever your city is, we're going to go through everything again and see if Belton, you've got a lower chance. You're kind of on the south side, so not zero, but lower. So here's what we have on Doppler right now. Line of storms, this is what we're tracking. This is what's going to move our way. The strongest batch is this cluster that's up here. This line goes all the way from northeast Kansas down into central Kansas. And parts of that are severe. But the strongest right now is over here in just east of Beatrice in southeast Nebraska. There is a tornado warning right there by Wheaton. As I was showing you earlier, when the storms don't have anything to their south, look at where the tornado warning is. It's on the south of that cluster of storms. That allows it to not have interaction with storms around it. It's kind of all by itself. It's got storms to the north, but really what matters is to the south. It can grab all that air and kind of spin, and that's why it's got a tornado warning on it, is it is rotating. So those are the ones that we watch most closely. We're at the bottom of the line. That's what you watch. We're thinking that this is going to turn into more of a solid line as it moves our way. And as it does that, that tornado threat will drop off. Lower, not zero, but lower. The yellow boxes, there's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings here. That's for ping pong ball size hail. Like that's pretty good size hail in some of those storms. So back to when you could expect storms as early as after 8 o'clock in the yellow zone, Maryville, St. Joe, Atchison. All right, so you could get some early storms. It's probably going to be about 9, really, is the best chance, 9, 10 o'clock for that zone. For the orange zone, Kansas City, everybody in the orange zone, Chillicothe, Richmond, Olathe, you'll be looking at after 10, probably closer to midnight. And then to the southeast in the red, you're looking at after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So for a lot of this is going to be a nighttime while we're sleeping type of event. And if you want to have alerts, again, NOAA Weather Radio, First Warn 5 weather app, we get all the alerts. They're going to all come to you. And it's totally free. It's got forecast radar. It's got radar. It's got everything you need. So good thing to have there for tonight. closer look at storm timing in KC. This is specific to Kansas City. I think we're dry through the rest of the daylight hours. It's not until after really probably 11. That's where we put the first one on. Still, I think 11, 40%, less than 50-50 odds in Kansas City. It's getting close, though. So first one highlights, hey, this is where we're paying attention. Midnight, 1, 2, 3, 90% odds. I'm pretty confident that we get storms during that time, meaning rain, some thunder. A lot of this most likely will just be general summertime thunderstorms for the bulk of us. By 5, they're starting to scoot away from Kansas City, part of the commute, out at the bus stop in the morning. I think we're going to be fine. I think they're out of here in Kansas City. So something else I want to show you is the rain potential here. It could be a pretty good rainmaker. Not everybody's going to get heavy rain, but most of us will get rain. But in pockets, we could get an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches. So pretty good soaker. We've had a lot of rain this week. So there we are now. This is a live view out over the Blue Hills Country Club. It is humid, pretty humid out there, although not as bad as it was looking. It was looking to be even more humid. So 86 feels like 96. It got up to 117 heat index in Ottawa. My goodness, Garnett, you were right there too at 115. The most humid air was just southwest of KC. So we had a heat advisory for today, thinking it was going to hit 105. Didn't quite get there in Kansas City, but boy, we got it in Olathe and Lawrence and Paola and Ottawa and Lacine. You guys just got hit hard with the humidity and the heat. Okay, so back to forecast track, timing out these storms. Before I get there, let's see if there's any other questions. Will it go as far south as Harrisonville? Yeah, I think so. I think for storms, I want to be specific here in delineating between storms and severe weather. Harrisonville, you're not in the severe thunderstorm watch. Doesn't mean it couldn't get extended. You know, that line of storms, it could stay together and stay organized and that watch get extended. But honestly, as I see this, I think what we're going to see is widespread rain and thunderstorms with pockets, little small areas confined to small zones where we could get some little areas of hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we're on forecast track. I'm showing you exactly what we see behind the scenes. This is the best computer forecasting meteorology that you can get. It's called the HRRR weather model. It's a really good model. It's designed for thunderstorms like this. This is where it really excels. So this is behind the scenes kind of stuff that we're showing you here. There it is by 9. And entering Maryville, Atchison, places in northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas is where it will start. And then as we get closer to midnight, watch that line expand. Okay, so this is probably where it gets going in Kansas City. Midnight, give or take an hour. Bethany, Cameron, Lawrence, that's that timing that I showed you previously. Now look closely and look at the colors here. All right, so the color is generally yellow and orange, indicating thunderstorms, rain, good rain. But it's not until you get into the blacks, the really bright reds, and the purples that we would monitor for severe weather. And the reason why I show you that is look at how small those areas are. I don't see widespread bright colors on the forecast radar because the atmosphere by that point, it doesn't look as favorable for widespread severe weather. Only in small zones is where we could see some of that hail and high winds. And once it's past Kansas City, this thing's on a weakening trend. And a lot of that's just going to be thunderstorms. So we're asking about Harrisonville, Warrensburg, Clinton, Sedalia. Right now, it doesn't look like severe weather. I'm not saying it's impossible, but we don't have a watch there. It looks like thunderstorms. I think you're going to get some good rain. This is 5 o'clock in the morning. Notice it's east of Kansas City. You may wake up to storms south and east of Kansas City. And then by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I think it's pretty well cleared the area. All right, so what else do we have? There's the bus stop forecast tomorrow, 75. I think we're going to be okay for the kids at the bus stop and driving to work. Let's see, what else do we have? Atchison, Kansas. Atchison, because you're on the northwest side of our coverage area, storms have a higher chance of being stronger there. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get severe weather. It just means that you have a better shot at it. So in Atchison, I'd be paying attention this evening, 9, 10 o'clock especially. Let's see, what else do we have? All right. Okay. So let's go to, this is tomorrow. Much of tomorrow, we're going to catch a break. We're going to be in the upper 80s. It's still humid. Feels like about 100, give or take. And the peak heat of the day, something like that. So triple digits, pretty good bet. And then there is another round of storms. This will be the last round for a while that we're going to watch for tomorrow evening. 6 o'clock to 10, we'll say 5 to 10. Better shot in Kansas City and north. So some of these could be on the strong side, but it's much more broken. This is not like a solid line like we're looking at tonight. This is more busted up and scattered, but we could have some strong cells in there. So there's 9 o'clock. Notice Kansas City kind of on the tail end of that, but we could get clipped. Keep that in mind for your evening plans for tomorrow. There is a level 2 out of 5 risk for that. And severe winds and hail is the primary threat there. So we're going to watch that. The higher chances, though, are certainly along and north of I-70. Kansas City, 40%, less than 50-50 odds. I think we would just get grazed by it, but we've got a chance. Bethany, Cameron, Chillicothe, more confident that you get it south of I-70. Odds are lower. Doesn't mean zero. It just means at this point it looks lower. And one more look at that 7-day. Once we're past Thursday, we are on easy street. Humidity drops off. We're drier. Everything looks great for a long time, too. Friday and your weekend are fantastic. Mid-80s for Saturday and Sunday. We've got the Chiefs game out of Arrowhead. I think it's going to be good for that. Not too worried about that 20% rain chance. I think we'll stay dry. And into next week, we look dry, too, with mid-80s holding. So that's the latest that I have for you. That forecast radar that I showed you, that updates constantly, and I'll have new information coming up at 10 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, it'll probably be knocking on the doors of Kansas City to our northwest. So I think we're going to be tracking it by that point, and we may have some warnings by that point. We will see how well that line holds together. It's always a question mark with storms and severe weather, but the chance is there. So join us at 10 o'clock if you want an update on what the rest of the night looks like, and even into tomorrow morning if any of that changes. We're going to be totally transparent, and I'll show you everything that I see, and it may change, and if it does, I will show you all of that. Before I leave, let's see what else we have on Facebook. I bet it's after 9 tonight when we get more warnings. Yeah, I agree with that generally. That's when it's entering our area. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that this helped you. That's always the goal. Again, bottom line is I'm expecting storms for most of us tonight. There's a chance that some of them are strong to severe, not widespread severe weather, but in small pockets. I think that's the big takeaway, and be a good night to stay aware. It's probably going to be noisy tonight, so hopefully we get good sleep. We will see. We'll see you at 10 o'clock. Have a great evening. Stay safe. Thanks for joining us.